What's up, guys and gals, and welcome back to another Division 2 video. Hope you all are just having a fantastic week thus far. You've asked for it in the comments sections on vids, and also have commented and tweeted out to me on the Twitter sphere and wanting me to do another AR build. As you all know, I've kind of been on an LMG kick as of late. They're loads and loads of fun, but it's time to get back to the ARs. And you have also noticed I do not have any SMG or sniper rifle or marksman rifle, as they call it in Division builds, on the channel. That's because that song has basically been played out so long. But if you'd like to see some of those, then by all means, just hit me up in the comment section below. Tell me what you want. And as always, I will deliver to all those that are constantly showing me all this love and support. Very much appreciate it. I am sincerely blessed and humbled by it. Let's keep it going. We're almost at 5K, but enough of my babbling, because I can just talk for days and days about nothing and then repeat myself 10 times. So without further ado, let's just hop right into the video, shall we? But as you can see, we are running double ARs. You can choose whether you want LMG or AR. I have it set up more or less an AR or LMG as your secondary, but just for all intents purposes, we're just going with the double AR. And to drop a tidbit nugget, in case you guys didn't know, that you can never run out of ammo if you use the filler up talent. If you start with 800 bullets, rounds, whatever, basically, if you use that filler up talent, utilizing your secondary and just going through the reload animation, you'll never run out of ammo. You can go absolutely down to bare bones 0. None in your mag, none whatsoever in your clip. You're just crap out of luck. Well, you can still proc filler up and instantly refill your magazines. So in case you didn't know that, now you know. But anyways, we have a P416 and an M4. I do actually have two P416s. This one actually has the talent unlocked by way of Ranger. Every 5 meters you are from the target grants 2% weapon damage. And the way I got it set up, typically you're going to be fighting at more or less a 10-meter range, so that'll give you at least an additional 4% weapon damage bonus, but anything over than that, every 5 meters past, is an additional 2% weapon damage. And of course we have Allegro in the second slot, and in the third slot, I prefer something else, but we are stuck with transmissioned. While holstered, shock applied to the agent transfers to an enemy within 10 meters. That does come in handy if you're roaming in the occupied or the normalized dark zones, because those NPCs that have those shock rounds, then that definitely will help you out. You're not just plastered there for seems like an eternity and then basically get two-tapped by anything and everything around you. But yet, if you want to take it into the dark zones, like I stated, then you can switch in and out the mods and make it and conform to your playstyle. Tweak it as you see fit and for your playstyle and your personal preference. So just take this as more or less a recommendation, but as all builds, you have to make it your own. And then we have the M4 with close and personal. Killing a target within 7 meters grants 50% weapon damage for 5 seconds. Requires 5 or more, and of course, I got 14. Allegro is in the second slot for the 10% rate of fire. And then we have Wascoey. No, not Bugs Bunny, not that Wascoey Wabbit. It's the talent Wascoey. Or Wascoey, or however you pronounce it, whatever. While holstered, you are able to resist one ensnare effect. When you do, you remain immune for 5 seconds. Can occur once every 60 seconds. There's better things out there, but it is what it is. And of course, we have it set up the same exact way as our P416, with damage to elites on the scope, the extra mag, or extra rounds in the magazine, the long barrel with the crit chance, and then of course the damage to elites muzzle on it. Now, if you want to go to an LMG, by all means, you can go with the unhinged Allegro variations, whatever you see fit. Now, I do have this P416. It does hit harder and even is a lower gear score than my other one, but it has preservation on it. And it requires 5 or more, and I actually have 1. So beggars can't be choosers, but this works out really, really nicely as I got it set up. So let's start out with the main components of this build. We'll start out with the 3-piece first. It is the 3-piece Weaponware. You get 7% crit hit damage, 15% drone skill power, and then of course 10% crit hit chance for having all 3. The attributes are 4.5% crit hit chance, 21% damage to elites, and then of course the hard hitting talent, 15% damage to elites as well. So a grand total of 36% damage to elites off this one piece. Now, I haven't modified or recalibrated this piece yet, but once I do, I will up those crit chance a little bit more. And if I get the right number in the game and the RNG gods allows me, then yes, I can actually hit crit chance cap with ARs or LMGs with this build right here. I am so close. But anyways, moving on to the knee pads. It has 6.5% crit hit chance. And also, by the way of talents, we have plus 15% damage to elites. In the mod slot, we have 1% weapon damage, 1% LMG crit chance, and 1% assault rifle crit chance. If you don't care to have that extra, 1% crit chance, then you can actually have, and you probably do have a better offensive mod, percent weapon damage. As you'll see, and other ones I actually have one that has 2 weapon damage, 2 LMG damage, and 2% assault rifle. So it gives me a total of 4% on both. But moving on to the holster. This is the first time I actually am using the talent by way of Bloodlust. I've been searching for it, and I finally came across of it. And it is as follows. Swapping weapons within 3 seconds of a kill grants 25% weapon damage for 10 seconds. Requires 4 or less defensive attributes, and therefore we meet that because we only have that one. And then, of course, in the mod slot, 1.5% weapon damage and 1% assault rifle crit hit chance. Now, this works out really well, especially if it was when it comes to the close and personal on the M4, because you have to kill them within that 7 meters. It doesn't have to be a crit, because that would say, kill them in, with a critical strike. In order to get this proc, but since it does not, and the enemy just has to be within 7 meters, and then that'll proc that 50% weapon damage bonus. And if you do the timing just right, either it be NPCs or a player, then you can chain also Bloodlust along with it. And Bloodlust will give you an additional 25% weapon damage for 10 seconds. And that just gives you from swapping weapons. You might kill or down someone within half a magazine, or sometimes, it might take, the whole 40 rounds to completely finish them off. But as soon as you do, you can immediately swap as you normally do anyways. And then you'll have that 25% damage bonus. And then, of course, if you are using an AR with the close and personal, then that'll be 75%. At least for the next 5 seconds, and then it'll drop down to just an additional 25% for the remainder 10 seconds, or that last 5 seconds. So it works out really, really well. And of course, we have 11.5% crit hit chance, so I don't miss anything. And now on to the chest piece. The Fenris Group AB chest piece, we're utilizing one piece of it for the 10% assault rifle damage. Its attributes are 9.5% crit hit damage, 8% crit hit chance, and then 8759 health. The talents are Berserk, plus 10% weapon damage for every 10% max armor depleted. Requires a shotgun, SMG, or an assault rifle. And then, of course, we have Hardened, plus 10% armor. In its mod slots, we have 1.5% assault rifle damage for a total of 5.5% weapon damage going to the AR just for that, and then 3.5% going to our pistol, which is, I'm potato with it. Well, I'm potato with basically anything, but, if you happen to need to switch to your sidearm, then, you get some extra bonus damage in the mod slot as well from it. Now on to the backpack itself. Now, this is one of the areas in which I would change. I prefer something more or less along the lines of Vital here, just so that I can increase my health pool. But we are stuck with Efficient. Using an armor kit has a 50% chance not to consume the armor kit. And then, of course, we have Hardened, plus 10% armor. And that is our main thing that we wanted right here is the Hardened, because we are definitely on the lighter side of things. But if you are in normalized PvP, whether it be in conflict or in the dark zone, the normalized 2 sections of it, then you'll be just fine. Peachy King, hit like a ton of bricks, and lots more. And of course, in the mod slot, we have 2% weapon damage, 2% assault rifle damage, and then, like I said, if you wanted an LMG as your secondary, then it also gives you 2% LMG damage in that one mod itself. Now on to the gloves. It's just a simple pair of gloves. I tried to find something better. I even thought about using, a talent such as clutch, but due to the attributes and the requirements of it, I knew that I wasn't going to be able to have safeguard. And yeah, it might help just a tiny little bit, but since my health pool is only at 35k, well, almost 36k, I didn't think it would be really that beneficial. So in this case, when it comes to PvE, hard hitting when it comes to all those elite or named bosses, then always 15% damage to elites, you can't really beat it. And then of course on the attributes we have assault rifle damage and then 133 skill power. Now the things that you can tweak. By all means, you can simply throw on like a Petrov chest piece to give you that 10% LMG damage. As you can see, my armor shoots up quite a bit. And then I can still utilize everything else on this build. So that way you can run an AR and an LMG. And like I said, with all these stacks and bonuses and as hard as LMGs hit, then it'll be very, very easy to get that additional 25%. I know I could probably go the route of being compensated, but compensated requires 3 or less offensive attributes, and we're at 14 here. Because basically our mindset is hitting with an AR and LMG. Yes, I know that with inside 10 meters or outside 45, that the AR or LMG cannot crit. So this is more or less on the lines of mid-range. But you do significant enough damage to where either they are outside or inside. You can wait till they actually, approach you, or you can advance upon them so that way they're inside your range. Or if they inside that 10 meters, like I said, if you utilize, especially if on an LMG, that hip fire and just whip around, those, I don't know what you would call it, those vector levers, which is, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, SMGs are just totally the most easiest gun to use in the game. Just saying, but when you put a shield and a drum with. Oh, but anyways, I'm jumping off topic. I'll rant about that later. I just choose to use other things, so that's why I came up, with something like this. But anyways, yes, I'm rambling. Let's hop over to the character sheet. As you see on the M4. 54% crit chance, 49% crit damage, 55% headshot damage, 2.4 reload time. The offense of it, 9.5% all weapons damage bonus, and then 37% assault rifle damage bonus. And then, of course, we have 76 damage to elites. And then we'll go over everything else as far as in the defense if you are curious, but it's all zeros and something, and it's nothing you haven't seen already by just way of gear, nothing special. But if you want to do more or less pure PvE, then definitely what I would do is keep it as is and then just switch out the Bloodlust for another 15% damage to elites, and that would put me at 91% for this particular build, and that still puts me at 53% crit hit chance. So it is very, very much vital when using it this way. Even though it can't crit in a certain range, it's an AR, it's not supposed to. You just have to know the surroundings, know the situation that you're in, and play to your strengths, and make them play into your strengths, and don't play into their strengths and they be your weaknesses. I mean, it's all, a cat and mouse game, so to speak. You just got to know your build, the ins and outs, its strong points and its weaknesses, and then play accordingly. And, you have to pretty much get intimate with the build. You have to use it constantly. And then when you find better pieces, tweak it, make it stronger, fortify it, becomes second nature to you, and you don't have to think, well, are they inside or outside my range? I mean, you can just look at them and wherever they're at on the map and how far they're away, and you'll just know. So don't just pick a build because you see it on a YouTube video, but make it something that's your play style and toward your preference. And then if it's something you still want to try out and get better at, then tweak it, make the build your own, make the build conform to you, but don't let the build make you conform to it. And like I said, just a little tweaking here and there. Like I said, vital. And if you got better pieces with some better rolled armor, then by all means, you can get a lot tankier. But for all normalized things, even conflict or the DZ, and especially when it comes to PBE things, then you completely destroy. But I'm going to go over to the firing range and actually demonstrate and show you. We'll see you over there. Let me show you as far as the, I guess, output, so to speak. But just hold your comments till afterwards before you start laughing at my complete potato aim. I know I suck at aiming, but hey, it gets the job done when need be, right? So, we'll start with the P416 first. As you can see, we're probably around the, right out inside the 30 meter mark. Hitting for around 72. Crits galore. Yes, we are using the elites. Now, if you want, say, named. And yes, I'm on console, so there's no need for me really to stack headshot damage on top of damage to elites and just sit here and peg it in the head and then, you know, put some clickbait title, hey, I got 2 million DPS. Nope, that's just not me. But like I said, if you want to go with an LMG for this particular build, just insert a Petrov piece. And as you can see, I'm at 52% crit on this M249 as well. And I only have 2% LMG damage. So if you switch over to a demolitionist and have it, you know, your skill tree up to the 15%, that's going to be at least another total of 17% LMG damage just by swapping those pieces out. Complete potato. But anyways, it's been a lot of fun. Like I said, just try it as you see fit. For, you know, pure PBE activities, I would use probably this setup. And like I said, just with a different talent in the backpack. And then if I wanted to, say, venture into the dark zone, the normalized section of it, then I would have to go back to the old Bloodlust. Just because when you do kill somebody or an NPC, then you can easily, as you normally would anyway, especially if you're running AR or an SMG instead of reloading, just switch to your secondary, and then bam, for the next 10 seconds, you have an additional 25% weapon damage stacked on top of that.